Imagine a future where your car doesn't just drive you, it powers itself, where sunlight becomes fuel and energy comes free from the sky. That's not science fiction anymore. That's Aptera, a company rewriting what's possible in transportation. And now they've just made one of their boldest moves yet, appointing Leon Kaunitz as Senior Vice President of Engineering, a veteran who's built cars for Tesla, NIO, Ford, and Daimler. Vehicles that defined eras and changed industries. His arrival could be the defining moment that takes Aptera from prototype to production, from dream to driveway. For years, Aptera has been chasing a radical idea. Build the world's most efficient vehicle. Not just electric, but solar electric. A car that can travel up to 1,000 miles on a single charge, powered in part by sunlight. When it first appeared, people thought it was crazy. A three-wheeled spaceship-looking EV claiming to use a fraction of the energy of a Tesla. But Aptera's founders, Chris Anthony and Steve Fambro, believed that if you combine extreme aerodynamics, ultra-light materials, and direct solar integration, you can redefine efficiency itself. And now, they're closer than ever. But belief isn't enough. Building the most efficient car ever made requires more than a dream. It requires world-class execution. That's where Leon Kaunitz comes in. His career reads like a roadmap through modern EV history. At Tesla, he helped bring the Model S from concept to mass production, a process that turned an ambitious startup into the most valuable automaker in the world. At NIO, he was employee number 9 in the United States, leading the engineering team that created the ES8 and ES6, vehicles that helped redefine China's premium EV market. At Ford and Daimler, his work shaped vehicles that move millions every day. Now, his mission is to take Aptera, one of the boldest automotive visions of our time, and make it real. When you look at Leon's track record, one theme stands out: turning big ideas into buildable products. He doesn't just design, he builds. He's known for integrating complex systems, streamlining manufacturability, and leading cross-functional teams through the most chaotic stage of any vehicle's life, the jump from prototype to production. At Tesla, that meant solving problems no one had ever faced before. How to make a high-performance EV at scale. At NIO, it meant creating an entirely new manufacturing and battery swap system from scratch. And at Aptera, it means something even more challenging: how to mass-produce a car that's never been made before. Steve Fambro, Aptera's co-CEO, said it best. Leon is exactly the kind of systems thinker and builder we need to take Aptera across the production finish line. He's not just bringing technical expertise, he's bringing leadership, grit, and a startup mindset forged through experience. That mix of vision and realism could be exactly what Aptera needs right now. Because, make no mistake, this stage is critical. Designing a prototype is one thing. Scaling it into a product thousands of people can actually buy is a completely different challenge. You need precision engineering, supplier partnerships, tooling validation, regulatory approval, and funding. You need to balance innovation with execution. And you need to do all of that while the world watches, investors, customers, and skeptics alike. Aptera's design philosophy has always been about ruthless efficiency. Every curve, every bolt, every solar cell serves a purpose. The entire vehicle is engineered to minimize drag. With a coefficient so low, it looks more like an airplane wing than a car. The lightweight composite shell keeps weight down while maintaining strength. The integrated solar panels can add up to 40 miles of range per day, enough for many people to drive without ever plugging in. Inside, the minimalist cabin focuses on functionality and openness. emphasizing the company's core idea: do more with less. But for all its brilliance, that design only matters if it can be built at scale. That's the challenge Leon Kaunitz is here to solve. Kaunitz has spent his entire career solving complex engineering puzzles. At Ford, he worked on the legendary F-150, one of the toughest mass production programs in the world. At Daimler, he contributed to the Cascadia, a heavy-duty truck that became a benchmark for efficiency. Each project demanded not only innovation, but discipline. It's that combination, creativity and execution, that defines him. He understands that engineering brilliance must meet manufacturing reality. That's the mindset Aptera needs as it enters this crucial next phase. His leadership philosophy is simple: design for manufacturability. Innovation only matters if it can be built. He believes in hands-on problem-solving, rigorous validation, and alignment between R&D, supply chain, and assembly. In other words, he builds organizations that don't just design, they deliver. That's exactly the type of structure Aptera will need as it transitions from an exciting prototype company to a global solar mobility manufacturer. When asked about joining Aptera, Kaunitz said, "Aptera is redefining efficiency for the EV era. I've spent my career transforming advanced concepts into products that are not only innovative, but manufacturable at scale. That's exactly what Aptera is poised to do, and I'm thrilled to help make it happen." Those words say a lot. They reflect both confidence and understanding of what's at stake. Because this isn't just about another electric car, it's about proving that solar-powered mobility is real, practical, and scalable. Aptera's next few years will test everything: their technology, leadership, and endurance. They're entering a world where competition is fierce and expectations are high. Tesla, Rivian, Lucid, NIO, and traditional automakers are pouring billions into EVs. Yet, Aptera's approach is different. While others chase luxury or performance, Aptera chases efficiency, something the rest of the industry often overlooks. Their promise is simple: go farther, use less, and never compromise on sustainability. But simplicity doesn't mean easy. To make that vision real, every piece of the puzzle has to fit. From battery integration to body assembly, from solar panel alignment to aerodynamics. That's the scale of the challenge Leon Kaunitz has accepted. Behind the scenes, Aptera is preparing for its most important milestones yet: final integration, tooling validation, and initial vehicle builds. These steps mark the transformation from prototype to production reality. Tooling validation ensures every part can be made accurately and repeatedly. Integration confirms that all systems, from powertrain to solar panels, work seamlessly together. The initial builds are where the first production intent vehicles come to life. It's the moment when design meets reality, and everything either clicks or collapses. Kaunitz's role is to make sure it clicks. It's a tall order, but he's done it before. When he joined Tesla, production was chaos. The company was pushing boundaries daily, breaking molds, sometimes literally. But with structured engineering systems, better manufacturability planning, and relentless focus, Tesla turned the Model S from a prototype into one of the most influential cars in history. At NIO, he built an engineering department from scratch, coordinating teams across the US and China, creating production frameworks for vehicles that would later dominate their market segment. Those experiences taught him how to scale without losing innovation. And now, that knowledge will shape Aptera's future. Aptera's journey has never been a straight line. Founded in 2005, the company faced bankruptcy, revival, and reinvention. The early prototypes were ahead of their time, ultra-efficient, futuristic, but limited by the technology of the era. When the EV revolution gained momentum, Aptera re-emerged with new materials, better batteries, and smarter solar tech. They raised millions through crowdfunding, gathered tens of thousands of reservations, and caught the attention of investors and enthusiasts worldwide. But the question always lingered. Could they actually build it? With Leon Kaunitz joining, that question feels closer to an answer. For Aptera, this hire isn't just about engineering, it's about credibility. It tells the world that they're serious about production, that they're moving from dreamers to doers. Investors notice that. Partners notice that. Customers notice that. When someone who helped shape the Tesla Model S and NIO ES8 decides to join your team, it means something. It means he sees potential worth betting on. It means Aptera isn't just a concept anymore. It's becoming a contender. Still, challenges lie ahead. Scaling production requires capital, logistics, and patience. It is one thing to build a car that's efficient in theory. It's another to deliver thousands of them with consistent quality. Tooling delays, supplier shortages, or certification hurdles could still slow things down. But that's exactly where Kaunitz's experience pays off. He's lived through those fires before. He knows the pain points, where to push, where to compromise, and when to pivot. That experience could be the difference between Aptera surviving or stalling out. There's also the matter of timing. The EV industry is evolving rapidly. Battery technologies are improving, but competition for supply is fierce. Consumers want sustainability, but they also demand reliability and affordability. Aptera sits at an intersection of all three. A vehicle that promises zero emissions, extreme efficiency, and freedom from charging. The world is watching to see if they can deliver on that promise before others catch up. What's fascinating about Aptera is how they've built their story around purpose. They're not just selling a car, they're selling a vision of independence. Independence from fossil fuels, from the grid, from the idea that mobility has to come at an environmental cost. Their solar EV isn't about luxury, it's about liberation. And Leon Kaunitz, the man now in charge of engineering that vision into existence, is stepping into one of the most ambitious engineering challenges of our time. If Aptera succeeds, it could change how we think about cars forever. Imagine commuting without charging. Imagine rural communities gaining mobility without new grid infrastructure. Imagine entire regions reducing emissions simply because sunlight became the new fuel. That is the scale of impact Aptera is aiming for, and that the future Kaunitz is helping to build. As production nears, all eyes are on key milestones. The first pilot builds, tooling validations, supply chain announcements, and eventual customer deliveries. Each update will signal progress or problems, but every great innovation story goes through this stage. The messy, unglamorous, critical stretch between concept and reality. The difference between those who make it and those who don't often comes down to leadership. And Aptera just brought in one of the best. When you strip it down, this is more than a hiring announcement. It's a story about belief. Belief in technology, in efficiency, and in a cleaner future. Leon Kaunitz represents that next step, the bridge from innovation to impact. And for Aptera, that bridge could lead straight to the future of solar mobility. Because one day, not too far from now, you might see an Aptera gliding down the highway, sleek, silent, powered by the sun. And when you do, remember this moment, the point where engineering, vision, and courage aligned, where a company dared to do what no one else would, where an engineer decided that the impossible was simply the next step forward. That's Aptera, And this is where the revolution quietly begins.